This lecture video discusses about abdominal wall hernia and the role of sonography, and the various snippets of the various topics covered in this lecture video will follow. Having gone through the preview, if you wish to listen to the main lecture video, go to sonoshare.in. Once you reach the website, this is the home page. You scroll down the home page and you will get the icons of various lectures available, and click on whichever lecture you want to subscribe. You would have seen the preview. You want to subscribe for the lecture, so click on the icon. And if you have any doubts, you can also see the SonoShare guide, which is available in the home page in case of any difficulty. On the fetal thorax, then you will go to preview page of the lecture video you have selected. So you click on the red bar and it will go to the page of the particular lecture video, the amount and the duration you can watch. And you click on the buy and it will go to the payment page, make the payment, and you will receive a confirmation email. Once you get the confirmation email, you log and view the lecture video. Thank you. Of hernia. Now you should be wondering why you need an imaging investigation for hernia, which is obvious when the patient is straining to elicit the protrusion, and sometimes also an erect posture of the pilion, the Richter, obturator, and the lumbar hernia. You see the external oblique muscle wall. So this is anterior and posterior. So from midline, we see the various structures. So this is width line. We see the aponeurosis extends as the anterior rectus sheath, but linea alba and the left rectus, and then you see the abdominal muscles, bellies of the rectus abdominal muscles. You can see the tendinous intersection. And when you coming to the symptoms, the hernia is seen as a visible lump. There may be incisional or at the port site following a laparoscopy or following traumatic. So the terminology, we must know the terminology is used in hernia. It may be a reducible hernia where the contents go inside now and then. Prosthesis, associated conditions and complications, and a post-operative follow-up. So I will cover this head raising, cough or erect posture, and you must look for reducibility and tenderness and look for the contents detail. Or when the patient is obese, we may have to use the convex 3 MHz hernia to look whether it is reducible, as shown in this. Last one is the head raise. So here the pictures show the technique of head raise, and here you see at rest, you don't see any hernia. And when the patient raises the head, when strains, then you see the prominence muscles are separated and the linea alba in between gets weakened, so that the contents bulge outside sides where you don't suspect a hernia, like an obturator hernia. So here this is a very obese individual. You see the entire depth is occupied by the abdominal wall, and so the bulge will not be umbilicus here, whereas the hernia has happened by the side, so that is a para-umbilical hernia. So para-umbilical hernia, port insertion, there may be hernia through the weak spot here, so that is the defect, and you get the port site hernia containing omentum. Vessels in direct, it occurs medial to the inferior epigastric vessels. So the technique is you use the 5 to 12 MHz transducer is medial, whereas in the indirect inguinal hernia, that is the inferior epigastric vessels, pubic symphysis, and the hernial sac is lateral to impulse, and And another differential diagnosis is persistent process vaginalis, where the process vaginalis is not obliterated because of hernia rather than a persistent process vaginalis. So here at present it is not there. When your patient coughs, the momentum goes into the hernial sac. There will be any reflex of venous flow, and rarely you may get the filarial dance confirming that it is forming the content. Here there is collapsed bowel loops forming the content, and here there is herniation of the part of the urinary bladder, and here you get the ovary and the fallopian tube as content. So here there is a incisional hernia with a bowels and momentum. There is fluid and it is irreducible. This is femoral hernia, again containing either way. So here this is sign of small bowel obstruction. You see the dilated loop with to and fro hyperperistalsis, and when you see that, then you trace the loop, and if you don't see any cause, then look for the hernial sites. Now obstruction in the hernia can be to the afferent loop or both. So here you see the schematic. This is the hernia, there is sac. So here you will see dilated small bowels in the abdomen, disproportionate dilatation of the loop in the hernial sac, and then you will see the distended loop in the hernial sac will be dense, which is obstructed. Now we come to strangulation. So what are the features? It is irreducible, it will be tender, there will be some fluid in the happen, even in the content is momentum. So it is irreducible and tender, there is fluid in the sac, content is momentum, and when you put on color there is no fluid. Semicircularis, the aponeurosis, the posterior rectus sheath is not present. So there is a potential weakness there through the undescended testis. So this is called Ravindran syndrome, and that is the real time showing the hernia containing bowels and of course the undescended testis in the sac. Now coming to the femoral hernia, and then the sac comes anteriorly, whereas in the inguinal hernia it happens superficial to above the, anterior to the inguinal ligament, and then goes posteriorly into the scrotum, medial to the common femoral vein, and that is the femoral hernia. You see the real time, you see the common femoral artery and the vein through the abductor foramen in elderly multiparous women because of the weakness of the muscles, particularly when they lose weight, and it happens deep to the pectineus. Parumbilical hernia, you get some fluid. This is a young girl presenting with severe pain, and you see the bowel loop, and this was showing peristaltic, so confirming that it is bowel. By the side you see the hernia. I mean free border of the lesser omentum in 88%. Transmesenteric and peristaltic small bowel loops will be seen, and when you trace the obstructed loops, and it will reach go to the right iliac fossa, and in the right iliac fossa you see a mass. The mass is consisting of collapsed sac is outlined by thin rim of fluid around it, and the important differentiating point will be the collapsed bowel loops in the internal hernia. Because they are compressed, they will not show any peristalsis. Margagni, which is a defect in the anterior part of the diaphragm close to the midline, and when this here again you see the herniated stomach into the chest through the hiatus. Now Boglet hernia is the commonest one and more common eventration, and it is an organoaxial rotation causing the volvulus, or normally the spleen is posterolateral to the stomach. Here it has come anteromedial, so that is again a pointer to gastric, and to look for the prosthesis, adhesion and recurrence, and testicular ischemia. So here this is immediately after surgery, you get a fluid collection within the bladder, and that was removed by cystoscopy. To conclude, the role of ultrasound is in confirmation. Dilated bowels in the abdomen and cause is not seen, you must look for hernia as the cause. Thank you.